Namaskar. Welcome to Ek Samvaad at Arunima Ankuran. On the occasion of National Science Day 2024, we're in conversation about graph signal processing techniques for neural decoding of human brain activities from EEG signals with a very young and dynamic guest, Dr. Priyanka Mathur. She is a senior assistant professor, Galgotia College of Engineering, Greater Noida. Warm welcome to you, Priyanka. Thank you very much for joining us on Ek Samvaad.
Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you so much for inviting me on this day. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity so that I can share my research and I can share my knowledge, what I have done for the brain signal, so that the people can also be benefited and they will also have a look onto this from the technological perspective. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
pleasure is mine. A word about Arunima Ankuran. This is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. The goal is greater well-being and happiness for all. At Arunima Ankuran, we believe that each person is unique and special in some way, that each person can make a difference, that each person can have an impact, and that's what inspires us to keep going. So on February 28, 1928, C.V. Raman announced the discovery of the Raman Effect, and for it he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1930. National Science Day is celebrated to commemorate the discovery of the Raman Effect and celebrate the contributions of scientists towards the development of India. The theme for this year's National Science Day celebration is Indigenous Technologies for Viksit Bharat. Priyanka Mathur, our guest today. She completed her PhD from Shivnadar Institute of Eminence, Greater Noida, in the field of brain signal analysis with graph signal processing techniques. MTech from IIIT DM Jabalpur, qualified the GATE and is a gold medalist in engineering from Jabalpur Engineering College. She has a teaching experience of 14 years. She has published more than 14 papers in SCI and Scopus indexed international journals and conferences. Her research interests include graph signal processing, machine learning, geometric deep learning, biomedical signal analysis, and image processing. So indeed, we are very proud to have you here. Congratulations on getting a doctorate. So
Thank you so much.
Priyanka, first of all, we would like to know why you chose this topic.
Yeah, you see, this topic is based on the analysis of the brain signals. Our
Hmm.
human brain is actually a very intricate organ. Everything we do, we see, we think, everything is coming from our brain signals. So, if there is some technique that we can analyze these brain activities, that what is happening inside the brain, so that way we can benefit the mankind in many ways. In our brain, we have different, I'll give you a technical aspect. We have different lobes, like parietal, frontal. We can divide it into four different parts. Every part is responsible for a particular activity. Suppose we are, just now we are seeing, we are speaking. That particular area of the brain is activated, rest is not. Similarly, when we move our hands, move our legs, that particular area is activated, others are not. So, in that particular area of the brain, what is happening?
Hmm.
From those signals, we can detect what is happening, and then we will have a brain computer interface, a machine, which
Hmm.
can identify what you are thinking, what is happening inside the brain.
Hmm.
In that way, whether it is a brain computer interface application or whether it is a neuro disease detection application, it will
Hmm.
benefit the mankind. And that is the motivation behind this idea of analyzing the brain signals, specifically the EEG signals.
Hmm. So when did you start and how did the research progress? What was your methodology and how did you work?
Yeah, I'll tell you. The starting was the disease epilepsy, you might have heard of. It's like recurrent seizures are occurring in the brain.
Hmm.
So there are techniques existing like digital signal processing techniques where the electrodes are placed on the brain
Hmm.
and these signals were analyzed. But till date, the people were analyzing these as independent, that they are not related. But
Hmm.
actually, inside the brains, these neurons are correlated and
Okay.
there has some relationship.
Hmm.
So we want to capture those relationship using graphs. And
Hmm.
in our area, this graph signal processing is being recently introduced.
Hmm.
And so we want to capture this, the powerfulness of this graph signal processing in the brain sector. So we started with that epilepsy, how
Mm-hmm.
we can detect it. And
Mm-hmm.
as the time progresses, we analyze that it falls basically into two categories. Not only the disease, but also in your like IoT and these applications where
Mm-hmm.
the robotics comes into picture.
Mm-hmm.
Person who are disabled, like
Yes.
disabled in the sense if they don't have legs, if they don't have their hands, but they everything they are doing from their brain. They
Mm-hmm.
imagine that they do, but they don't have this motor activity. So
Mm-hmm.
that activity is motor imagery, right? So now if you think that I am moving my right hand, but actually you are not moving, but you are thinking. So by our technique, I am able to capture that you just now thought that I am moving my hand, and
Mm-hmm.
I will interface it with the system. Say I have a robotic arm,
Mm-hmm.
right? I am moving, I am thinking that I am moving this fist, but I don't have this fist. Right? Robotic arm is moving that fist.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, those who don't have legs, right? So, but they can think that I'm moving my right leg. So, brain signal is activated.
Right.
That thinking my hand, my legs are moving, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't have legs. So, you are a disabled person. So, we can have that interface. We'll give you a robotic arm, we'll have a wheelchair, and then you can coordinate with your brain. So,
Mm-hmm.
that is the whole idea. So, what we have achieved so far is we have done the analysis for the hand movements,
Okay.
not at the hardware point of view, but from the software
Mm-hmm.
side. So our
Mm-hmm.
system was able to detect what you are thinking. So we have made this system. That one area is where we have made this system that people here were our volunteers from our college. So
Mm-hmm.
we made them do such activities voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now do this. Think that you are moving your right hand. Think that you are moving this fist. We recorded that simultaneously. We have our system which we developed,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was able to detect that this person is thinking moving right hand or this person is thinking moving left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, the area of the mental activity, like
Mm-hmm.
nowadays people are doing some mental activity every day to day time. So that also we analyze that
Mm-hmm.
right now, oh, you're doing some addition, right now you're doing some multiplication, these
Okay.
kind of small activities spotted. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
is known as mental activity.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to detect what kind of activity your brain is performing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, depending upon that particular area was activated. So we have those brain signals from those electrodes which we placed on the scalp of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
We got those signals. We applied our graphs. So we get a graph. So graph is what? Interconnection of nodes. So we got that graph. Okay, this particular area was activated.
Mm-hmm.
And then we applied machine learning techniques. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end, it was able to detect what was the activity which your brain was performing.
Wonderful.
So this was the system in our lab also in Shivnadar. We had this EEG setup. So
Mm-hmm.
we took the volunteers and we placed the multi-channel setup
Mm-hmm.
and we recorded the EEG signal. And at the real time, like we were able to capture if this person is thinking, moving the fist, this person is doing this particular activity. The second area was the passive signal where the person does not voluntarily do anything, but
Mm-hmm.
seizure comes. So
Okay.
that was not possible to record in real sense because it was related to medical field. So
Mm-hmm.
we had some databases which were
Mm-hmm.
available online.
Mm-hmm.
So we took those databases and we tested our algorithm there, and
Mm-hmm.
we were able to detect that this particular person is having such epilepsy.
Mm-hmm.
And also in my recent paper, we were able to establish that at what particular duration, at particular time it is occurring, and at what
Mm-hmm.
particular time it is ended, so that we can have the duration,
Mm-hmm.
like 30 minutes duration, this person was having the seizures, so that
Okay.
we can later on plan the drugs for that particular person. And the future, if you say, the idea is to extend this so that we'll be able to predict also. Like if we are able to predict 30 minutes or 40 minutes before that this person is going to have seizure, that
That'd be
person can
wonderful.
take the meditation and control it.
Yes.
So yeah, it is in that particular field. So we are having two major categories,
Mm-hmm.
which we call in our terminology active and passive devices. So fortunately, we were able to achieve at the algorithmic level, and we had those SCI papers based on that mental and motor imagery activities and epilepsy detection. And in the near future, we were thinking to uh, transform it into a real time application so
Mm-hmm.
that we'll have such complete BCI interface,
Wow.
considering a robotic arm and moving that. So that is the plan ahead.
Absolutely amazing. And because we are talking, you have a background in science, but for the lay
Yeah.
person, explain what does machine learning mean?
So here, machine learning actually, whatever your machine is there, right? So
Hmm.
machine learning, we see. In our normal sense, we see, we remember it, but our machine needs to train these things. So every time we used to train, okay, this particular data is this particular data is this. So if you train on a number of samples, automatically the machine able to recognize it. So
Okay.
basically, machine learning is the
Hmm.
machine is trained to recognize some particular things.
Hmm.
So suppose, for example, I have a chair. So how do I recognize it? It has four legs. It is of this color, right? It is this much height. Same thing we feed into a system. Now I'll
Hmm.
give a number of examples of a chair. So now I'll give you a test image. So that machine is able to recognize that it is a chair
Hmm.
because it is matching 100% criteria are matched.
Hmm.
So those criteria we call it features. So we remember a person from its features, na, this particular color, these eyes, these hairs. Similarly, the machine is trained. We are trained according to our age. We see the things and we got trained.
Hmm.
But machine, we have to train it.
Hmm.
So in machine learning, a machine is actually giving that intelligence so that he can recognize something
Hmm.
which he the which we which is it is not trained,
Hmm.
and test data that machine is going to predict.
Hmm.
That is the whole idea of machine learning.
Wow. So, you know, you have been doing research and you've been publishing so many papers and you also teach.
Hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about the methodology of science, you know, from where it
There,
starts
yeah.
and how it progresses.
So in science, every day we see a lot of things around us, and
Hmm.
science teaches us how it is happening. Basically, like normally we see a fan is moving, and our person is teaches, so it will know that what is the technology behind the fan is moving.
Hmm.
So we see a computer working, what is the technology behind it? So
Hmm.
nowadays we have so many apps. So nowadays the paradigm shifts to how that apps are being developed, how
Hmm.
you are able to just on one click, it is
Hmm.
being you are able to purchase anything, you are able to place order. So the science behind what is happening inside actually what we do.
Hmm.
So that is the whole idea.
Hmm.
In science we see what is happening behind it, not the
Hmm.
cover picture but the backend side, backend portion. So what
Hmm.
is happening around us, by science we are able to see what is the behind activity that is happening, those things. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about all the papers that you've been publishing and how progressively you have been doing so much work.
So regarding the papers, like during our research also, that's a compulsion also to get a
Mhm.
degree, you should have those SCI papers. So we started with little conference papers where we were able to, like for one of the conference, I was able to predict the epilepsy. This person has epilepsy. So we started with that, writing 4 to 5 pages, having some literature work and doing a little bit activity. Then when we went to like SCI journals, that is in our standards IEEE.
Hmm.
So in IEEE standards, we have that analysis where we have to prove that algorithm, how it is working well in different databases, how it is working well, right?
Hmm.
And then what if other scenarios are also there? For example, if noise is there, we are
Hmm.
recording the signal if noise comes. If a person is moving his eyes or
Hmm.
like blinking eyes, right? And then if the muscle activity is there, then also the brain signals got little bit artifacts which are called the noise. So
Hmm.
those type of analysis also we have done. So, like for publishing papers, you have to have a thorough understanding and thorough analysis.
Hmm.
Whatever algorithms we were proposing, we have to have a thorough base. It is going to work in these different set of environments.
Hmm.
Then, regarding the databases on which test signals you have tested, like
Hmm.
we have tested on our real volunteers, which are our students,
Hmm.
then the online databases. So,
Hmm.
this makes a complete journal paper which
Hmm.
validates basically our proposed algorithm. So
Hmm.
we have 2 to 3 such SCI papers of good impact factor which validates our algorithm.
Hmm.
And then there are conferences which help us to mingle up with the people who are doing the same kind of work.
Hmm.
Like I went to this Kerala once for an Indicon conference.
Hmm.
So I met the people who are also in the same field
Hmm.
and what they are analyzing. So different kind of biomedical signals were also being analyzed.
Hmm.
One of the person I remember, she was doing this machine learning and image analysis for dental.
Okay.
What was the idea behind? Her husband was there. Now in dental, if you have seen any doctor, okay, he has to go thoroughly manually through all the X-ray images to
Hmm.
determine what type of defect you have.
Hmm.
So that idea came into her mind that I'll automate this. That if you have number of images, your system is going to tell what kind of defect your teeth is having, so
Hmm.
that the load on the doctor is reduced. So
Okay.
basically, by this automation of the machine learning, we are actually helping the like our clinical
Mhm.
clinicians also,
Mhm.
so that they don't have to manually go through such kind of X-ray images, and you'll have a set of algorithm, and then you give a test image, and directly it will detect that this particular person is having this disease.
Mhm.
So in conferences, you meet so many people. So this was the whole idea of research, of publishing journals and publishing conferences.
Mhm.
So that helped a lot in
Mhm.
our research, basically.
So, talk to us a little bit about some of the people in science who inspired you.
So in my vicinity, basically, I'll not talk about the bigger person. In my vicinity only, I have a person, Dr. Parul Mathur, who is my sister. She is the motivation behind my research, actually,
Mhm.
because she's elder than me and she has started the research at that particular time when people think, okay, now your kids are also in the ninth or 10th, and then you have a set life, you don't have to study. She started studying at that particular age. So that only motivates me, ki, okay, you also can do it. If she can do it at this particular age and reach to such an height, she
Mhm.
is having right now the DST projects and
Mhm.
also one of the project which Amrita University where she is working right now. It's
Mhm.
a US sponsored projects on which she is working.
Mhm.
So she is the real motivation behind my research.
Mhm.
And then I have so many people in our family itself that motivate. So I don't have to look around.
Wonderful.
These are the people
That's
in my family also. The
Mhm.
other one, Dr. Neha Mathur is there, which is my elder sister. And
Mhm.
then my brother-in-law, Dr. Pankaj Mathur. So we all are in the research, basically. And all our research are interrelated. I'll tell you why. Because my two persons are there in mathematics. And
Mhm.
every research is having mathematics core as a core.
Mhm.
So even in my research, whenever we talk, we actually talk about, okay, this I am doing this particular part of work and how mathematics is going to help me.
Mhm.
And right now she is also working and she is also working how machine learning is being incorporated with maths. So
Mhm.
we all three are actually on the same research field, you can say.
Huh.
So these are my people who inspire me always.
I think this is one of the most beautiful things I've heard because, uh, being part of a family that connects through knowledge. What can be more empowering than that? Very nice. So, Priyanka, you just talked about automation. There is a lot of
Yeah.
fear in the minds of the common person that
Hmm.
automation will take away jobs. And you just spoke about a dentist and how it will make his job easier.
Yeah.
So, I would like you to throw
Easier.
some light on this aspect.
It's not that it is going to take away the job, yeah, but in a way, yeah, you can say like if factories, when factories came, yeah, people were like, we will not get jobs. But to run that
Yes.
machines, also you need to have that person. We are giving the intelligence to the system, but
Hmm.
who has developed that system? We, the human only. Right now, I am developing an algorithm and automation, so it is not 100% correct all the time. So
Hmm.
there has to be the human involvement every time. So
Hmm.
whenever we are developing an app, also it is going to give you an ease with your system. But a person has to be there that is managing those things
Hmm.
to run that app. If there is a bug, then we have to detect it. So it is not that we can completely be relied on that. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's why I say it will ease your work.
Hmm.
But it is not that you can just sit and that let the machine do that work.
Hmm.
There has to be it has to be monitored always, yes,
Hmm.
but it is going to help you. So
Hmm.
the task which is going to take 24 hours, that can be done only in half an hour time. So that
Yes.
will save your time.
Hmm.
Like in epilepsy, I'll tell you how epilepsy was being detected earlier. The people were there, they used to analyze those signals.
Hmm.
You all have seen ECG signals, right? Similarly, you can consider that EEG. So people used to analyze, it is this the rhythm, then there is sudden fluctuations. So continuous hours of monitoring is there, then you were able to detect that person has epileptic seizures. But with an automation system, you
Hmm.
can just apply those signals and the system is going to detect. And those 2 hours of duration of signals can be analyzed in quickly in a second.
Hmm.
So that is the whole idea of automation.
Hmm.
It's going to ease your work. It's going to reduce your time. So it's not going to take away your understanding and your like work culture, but it is going to reduce your time, which you were investing earlier.
Yes. And enhance human efficiency in many ways.
Definitely, definitely.
So you are a teacher. As a science teacher,
Yeah.
what are some of the things you do in the class to make it interesting for the students?
So basically, from the starting, I was teaching the engineering students. So in engineering, I used to take like from second year onwards, I have taught the subjects related to my field, that is electronics and communication.
Hmm.
So like starting when we teach communication systems, we
Hmm.
start from the basics, like
Hmm.
what is communication. So and then to make it interactive, we delve into the real life scenarios. Like
Hmm.
I'll tell you a small example. We use general terminology modulation,
Hmm.
right? So if you give an analogy to the person, what is modulation? I can directly go into the technical terms and discuss. But I'll take a very every time I'll take a very small example that I have to take go from here place to Bangalore. How will I go? I'll not walk. I'll not take rickshaw. I'll go by aeroplane. So what is the connection? Why I have taken aeroplane? Why not train or why not this? So that analogy was being made to understand the concept, technical concept of modulation. So for me, every time if I can draw an analogy with the real life scenario,
Hmm.
that will help the students to understand the concept behind it. So in that way, we proceed with the terminologies related to our technical terms like electronics and communication systems. Then we have analog electronics. So then again, we take the examples of the simple electronics machine which we are using. Simple
Hmm.
inverter everybody has there in their homes. So in
Hmm.
the inverter, what are the different things that make it happen that if the light goes off, what is happening? So
Yes.
from the analogy, that idea, okay, in our in our home also we have a system inverter. How
Hmm.
it is being worked? So there are some things related to some rectifier is there, some transformer is there. So if they get this picture, ki in real life we see these things, and
Yes.
then the people are motivated.
Hmm.
Okay, how it is happening? So
Hmm.
that gives the connection,
Hmm.
and then the students get interested in your area.
Hmm.
And then of course we have like smart boards. We have the PPT presentations. We can show them the videos,
Hmm.
but the whole idea is to get them engaged in what we are going to teach. That is like right now I'm teaching other than like Python subject was there. So to give them a feel how this GUI is going to help them. So I'll show them, okay, you all are using the Gmail account. So
Hmm.
everybody is familiar. But now we will see how it is being created,
Hmm.
how that login page is there. So
Hmm.
now they can, yeah, we are also going to create this login page. So
Hmm.
that motivation comes in the students, and then they get connected with you. And in
Hmm.
every class, it is like, okay, we are going to do such kind of things
Hmm.
from the real life world. Yeah,
Yeah.
I follow these things
Wow.
generally.
And I can just see the passion reflect in the way you're talking about being a teacher. Who are the teachers who inspired you?
So from the right, like in my school also. So I have one teacher which is I was very fond of, Mrs. Sanyal.
Hmm.
She was the one like from seeing from sixth class, like
Hmm.
okay, she is the one who teaches in this particular way, and then carry forward to my like BTech. So I have one teacher like we just like figure out, and we used to imitate that person actually.
Hmm.
Sometimes it happens that some teacher is being there in your mind, and we used to follow
Hmm.
that person. So that comes there, and then again I'll come to my home because I was the youngest one in my family. So I have these two elder sisters, and then my father and my mother. So these two sisters are playing the role of like teaching me. So I see them how one was there, like one has the methodology. Okay, give me some question. If you have a doubt, I'll solve them. I'll give it to you. The other one was like, okay, sit with me. Okay, but this is going to be solved like this, one by step, one step further, and then you'll get the answer. So these two different approaches I was able to see, and then I incorporate both of them, and then it comes.
So you got the
So
best
again,
of
we
both
can say,
worlds. Huh.
yeah, yeah,
That's lovely. It's not so easy for everyone to take up science
yeah.
because it requires a lot of commitment and, for that matter, any subject that you want to
Yeah.
study. What are some of the qualities that you think students who want to pursue science need to possess or develop?
Like say quality skill, like any student is not trained in anything.
Hmm.
While even my kids, like they are studying right now.
Hmm.
So it is inherent interest that comes in. Like
Hmm.
when they are studying English or when they are studying math, when they are studying science. So that inherent interest comes there. In science, this you can identify that person when he is reading the science. Okay, it is happening, and he'll come and he'll discuss with you.
Hmm.
So that you can say curiosity must be there to find out what is happening behind that things. You must have seen kids playing. Some of the kids starts just breaking the things, breaking the toys and see inside it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that curiosity you can identify in a kid from the very first day.
Hmm.
And I think that curiosity drives you to
Hmm.
take up science. So if you have that curiosity to know, what is
Hmm.
happening behind that thing, which is like, okay, fancy world,
Hmm.
that is, then you are correct person for taking up science.
Okay. Anything that you would like to say to parents as a
So,
uh
yeah, like being a parent also for a kid of like third and fourth class, and then being a child of a mother who has three children, I can say that we should always motivate our kids
hmm.
that you can do anything you want,
Hmm.
right? You should not pressurize. Right now, I've seen with my peer fellow colleagues that some of them are continuously behind their kids, that you have to earn this much grade or you have to earn this much marks. It should not be the criteria. The
Hmm.
criteria should always be for a parent being the learning part.
Hmm.
Motivate your kids to learn. It's not that you'll get full marks or 8 marks or something like that, but you learn.
Hmm.
Whether you succeed, whether you fail, you learn new things. So if
Yes.
they have this motivation behind that, I have to learn new things,
Hmm.
then that person surely going to have success and surely going to do some big thing in life because they have the curiosity to learn. I remember in my childhood also, or also in my 11th and 12th, and when I was in BTech, I got selected in TCS. But my mother said like, okay, you have the TCS, now just write GATE also. So I was like, no, I'm not interested. I don't know anything. I've not studied, and it was only 10, 15 duration of days were left. And she was like, you know everything. You have studied now. You just write. And I
Hmm.
just wrote on just her saying, without preparing and having this in mind that I don't have to clear it. I have TCS at hand,
Hmm.
and then surprisingly, I was selected in GATE.
Hmm.
And the same thing happened. I have got a call letter from TCS, but Triple IT was there. I just go and have this interview. You're going to clear it. I was
Hmm.
like, I have not prepared for it. And
Hmm.
mother and father were, no, you go and just have it. So this kind of attitude when you don't have any pressure,
Hmm.
and the parents are always motivating you that you can do this. It's very like it's piece of cake for you. You can do it. That thing should be there always, like an old saying, na, for Hanuman, the things are there, and somebody was there to just imbibe it. Okay, you have those qualities. The parent should be like that. Your kid has a Hanuman within, and you are just have to remember, try to remind him that you have those qualities. Just
Yes.
go for it, and you'll get succeeded.
I think that's a brilliant thing for you to say, and we are so proud of you. And congratulations on all the wonderful achievements. What are your plans in the future? What are you planning to do now after completing
So
your
right now,
doctorate?
like
Hmm.
yeah, I was thinking to do a postdoc because some of the things which we were doing in PhD,
Hmm.
we have so many questions around that we can take up further as a
Hmm.
research.
Hmm.
So postdoc is like definitely one of the thing. And secondly, I'm now trying to develop more and more skills because right now it's not the thing that you have knowledge and you go and teach.
Hmm.
So you have to develop your skills.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking to develop to work on those activities also, the things which I am not aware of or which I'm aware of a little bit. I'm going to develop that. So that is a skill development.
Hmm.
And secondly, I'm going to pursue my research in this particular field so
Hmm.
that I'm going to like able to make a product. So if you have the prototype or something product, that will be beneficial. So instead of having a knowledge of which is in journals, it should be in the real world where you will say that I have developed this product which is helping the mankind. So that is the future work I am thinking to develop a product on this, which is going to track what you are thinking right now. Also, one point I missed, which is also related to brain, I just want to emphasize it for a few minutes, you can allow, that is stress. So by brain signals, we are also trying to detect the stress part. So we
Hmm.
had one exercise we did. We did the analysis that when people are in the test scenario, they are giving exams, they are so much stressed out. So by
Hmm.
the brain signals, we can have that analysis.
Hmm.
And then again, if we have this much kind of analysis, so we can predict. So we can have a prototype by which you can able to predict, okay, this person is going under stress. You
Hmm.
should take immediate meditation or relax down or meditate so that your stress levels are lower down. So
Hmm.
that is also one point I missed, which also it is in the brain signal analysis. That
Hmm.
is also one of the future work and you can work on.
Yeah, as a psychologist, I'd be really interested, and please do pursue that.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. We did also one paper, also one conference was there where we did some of the analysis, but
Hmm.
that's a very preliminary analysis.
Hmm.
But we have the plans also for that.
So, thank you so much, Priyanka, for being here and sharing with us. It was amazing
Thank you so much.
listening to you talk so passionately about your work. We are so proud of you. And the best part is that, you're not just doing theoretical science, you're planning to bring it out of the laboratory and help mankind in general. So,
Yes.
congratulations, all the very best for your future. Thank you so much for being on Ek Samvaad Arunima Ankuran and sharing your perspective on National Science Day. We are very proud of young scientists like you. Keep going strong and make us proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.